he makes me really like, when I hear his solo playing, I'm like, I really love it, you know, like, and especially also in the time without Blakey, it's just like, wow, you know, like for me, this is an incredible time.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Accolades conversation series, in which I talk to some of my favorite artists about who or what they would recommend me checking out. Make sure to subscribe to our channel or hit the like button. This episode is in collaboration with Sonic City Festival, a 3-day curated festival in Kortrijk, Belgium from the 11th till the 13th of November, organized by Wilde Westen. This year's edition is curated by Low, Black Country New Road and Gilla Band. Some other bands already added to the lineup are Goat, Dry Cleaning, Coco, Le Fille d'Illegadat, and the musician you'll hear me talk to, Muriel Grossmann. Check out the lineup on soniccity.be, where more names will be added soon. Austrian alto, soprano, tenor, saxophonist and composer Muriel Grossmann was born in Paris and grew up in Vienna, where she initiated classical studies of flute at the age of 5 until 21, when she switched to alto and soprano saxophone and started playing and touring with various rhythm blues, funk, world music and jazz groups. She played with artists such as Shani Ben Kanar, Christoph Kurzmann, Gary Schuler, Piet Hoven, Robert Rehak, the original brothers. In 2002, she moved to Barcelona, where she started to lead her own band for recordings and concerts. Muriel Grossmann is resident in Ibiza since 2004, which marks a fruitful recording and performing period. I spoke to Muriel about Wayne Shorter, an American jazz saxophonist and composer. Shorter came to prominence in the late 1950s as a member of and eventually primary composer of Art Blakey's Jazz Messengers. In the 1960s, he joined Miles Davis' second great quintet, and then co-founded the jazz fusion band Weather Report. He has recorded over 20 albums as a bandleader. Many Shorter compositions have become jazz standards, and his music has earned worldwide recognition, critical praise and recommendation. Shorter has won 11 Grammy Awards. He is acclaimed for his mastery of soprano saxophone since he switched his focus from the tenor in the late 1960s and beginning an extended reign in 1970s as Downbeat's annual poll winner on that instrument, winning the Critics' Poll for 10 consecutive years and the Readers for 18. The New York Times' Ben Ratliff described Shorter in 2008 as probably jazz's greatest living small group composer and a contender for greatest living improviser. In 2017, he was awarded the Polar Music Prize. If you are into my illustrations, this Accolade series started as an illustration book, which you can still get on our website craterecords.be. This is what Muriel had to add.
I was thinking about giving accolades to Wayne Shorter because he is an incredible musician, and he's one of the musicians that came from that time where all the jazz comes from, and then also he's still alive. So actually, because I'm normally drawn to John Coltrane and all of the Lester Young, all of those people that are actually still dead, I was thinking of why not talk about somebody that is still with us, you know, while he's with us, and the power that is behind seeing a person alive on stage or seeing him talking in an interview and knowing all this incredible past, what is behind that person. When you see that person live, you're just getting all this. You see, I have it right now. There's the hair are standing up, you know, because you can see his passion also. You cannot only hear his music, but you can see his passion. You can see where he's coming from. And with Wayne, I guess I have a few things in common. Let's say he's is a very individual musician. Yes, he was at the time active when John Coltrane was there, and he was fascinated by John Coltrane. But in his playing, you can hear he just made it himself. You know, he made all this what he heard and what he experienced. He made it something that came out of himself, where you can surely say he leaned on it, because we all lean on somebody, you know, that we are passionate about. And it happens a lot with me. People want to compare me to John Coltrane, which is impossible because nobody can compare anybody to John Coltrane. But then I seem to know what they mean, yeah, because I kind of tried to take all that, what he made in me, and made it myself. And I see that in Wayne Shorter, because maybe the record that would be most close to John Coltrane is Juju, is one where I can really hear him. But then there is all this incredible work of him, you know, with Art Blakey, where I already love his solo playing, you know, where he's like so, he has this tone that is so corpusculent, you know, but it's not the clean tone. It's like a very rough tone. And that's something I have also, rough tone, but he has such an incredible phrasing, yeah? And he can play at such incredible tempo with that phrasing. Me really, like, when I hear his solo playing, I'm like, I really love it, you know, like, and especially also in the time with Art Blakey, it's just like, wow. For me, this is an incredible time. That he had there, and then he took it to another level, everything. Well, I guess it's just very inspiring. He's also Virgo, you know, I'm Virgo. He's also drawn to Buddhist philosophy. Like, he's a practitioner, you can see that everything what he's talking comes from that knowledge of being a practitioner of Buddhist. So anything he talks about, music, about zero gravity, or whatever, how he might give it other names, you know, because Buddhist philosophy is very close to astrophysics, you know, like, I mean, they're just like, of course, meeting in the mystery realm. And you can see everything that Wayne says is coming out of his deep belief and his understanding of Buddhist philosophy. And he's practicing every day and his meditation. So I like to hear him talk, you know, because he's like explaining the things in a way that I can also really relate to them. And it's very fascinating for me.
When you're into jazz, or when you start with jazz, what are the starting points, or is there like a sort of way how you discover people like him?
Well, I mean, I come still from a time where we didn't have any mobiles, where we didn't have any computers, no YouTube. Yes, so this incredible tool of having the computer with the YouTube, and you can go in the past, in the future. I mean, nearly in the future now, but everything that has been said, you know, you can just, with a few clicks, you can just come to it. I come from that time where friends of me made me the tapes, and you know, when you sometimes you rewind them even by hand, you know, something like that, and they make you the tapes with different songs. And I was listening to Zappa, I was listening to Weather Report. So for my initials to the saxophone didn't come to just from a pure jazz realm, like afterwards, like when I afterwards would delve into Charlie Parker, you know, and all of that. This was after, but first I was hearing like more fusion, or however you want to call that, and rock, and I don't know what I was listening, you know, blues and things from the radio, the Beatles. But with the saxophone, it was surely, I heard Wayne Shorter from the Weather Report, yeah, mm-hmm. And but also of course other people. And later I came into listening a lot to Joni Mitchell, and there's Wayne Shorter again, you know. And I love this time of him because I love Joni Mitchell. For me, it's like she has this incredible body of art, you know. It's very interesting to hear her first records with this very female high voice, and then going over the time with this really corpusculate, deep voice, you know, singing both sides now, not how she would sing it now, or how she would sing it when she was like in her 20s. And Wayne Shorter taking a part in that. She played wonderful on Joni Mitchell's albums, Mingus or whatever. It was just beautiful how he embellished the things, how he played in Weather Report. It's not the solo playing that we are used in jazz and that we so much love, you know, but it's incredible musical.
What would be the specific song or album that you would recommend people starting to get into his body of work?
Well, that depends really in what kind of music you are, okay. You know, what kind of music you like to listen. For
you personally, I mean.
For me personally, because I'm now really a jazz person, I would say Juju. That's for me, like Speak No Evil, Juju, Soothsayers, his own albums, you know, like at that time, he didn't have a band, but he was recording with a lot of musicians. But there are albums that are very, very interesting, like Supernova, that are not so known, and they go in total different realms, but they are definitely worth listening, like Odyssey of Ishka and Supernova, for example. Yeah, it's also, and then of course, if you like Weather Report, you should definitely delve into Weather Report. And from a Weather Report, well, there's a lot of work, and everything is changing because they had an incredible development over these 15 years. When you start in the beginning, you have this more airy and spacey and music, and then you come into more, or is later into more orchestral stuff, even, you know, like because of the synths and the keyboard synthesizers and MIDI, and then you're like, wow, what is that, you know? And when Pastorius comes in, that's a wonderful album. Listen to Black Market, you know, for example. That's a real, but also the hearing them live in that live album 830, yeah, that's a live album. And then you can say, wow, if I would have been to that concert, you know, that is like, wow, how big this is, you know. But if you like more singer-songwriter, you should definitely listen to Joni Mitchell.
Have you ever seen him? Have you ever seen him play live?
I haven't seen him live, but he doesn't play since, I think what I've heard is that he retired the last 2 years, like from playing live. So his latest work was with a quartet, Danilo Perez and John Patitucci and Brian Blade. And that's very, very nice. And he went on tour with them and he made albums. So that's really his let's say maybe first quartet that he not only recorded, but also played. And until 2 years ago. So I don't know. After that, he made more. I think there was a film coming out, and then there was an opera coming out with Esperanza Spalding, no, Iphigenia. So I have not really seen that. I just seen some interviews about it and some scores of him when he displays it on Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, for sure, he's getting 90 in 2 years. I mean, I think it's quite tiring to go on tour when you're so old. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah. Speaking of going on tour, you're playing in Sonic City Festival here in November. Is there anybody else that is on the bill that you're looking forward to seeing, or do you know who's playing as well?
I have to admit that I have been very let's say involved in my own stuff because I'm so that I really don't I cannot see anybody because I'm just coming and flying back. Yeah,
okay.
So
all right, enjoy the good weather and the rehearsals for the new tour coming up.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you in November. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks again, Muriel, for your contribution. This episode was a collaboration with Sonic City Festival, a 3-day curated festival in Kortrijk, Belgium from the 11th till the 13th of November. You can find all information on soniccity.be. Next week, I'm going to be talking to legendary UK rapper Blade about his love for soccer player Maradona. Thanks for listening.